Hi, good morning, everyone, and welcome to County Executive Pittman's virtual press conference. This morning, the County Executive will share announcements on a new youth engagement portal, on the implementation of body-worn cameras, and on COVID. We'll take questions after, as we normally do. As a reminder, please put your name and media affiliation into the chat, and I'll call on folks for questions in that order. Until you are called on, please keep your camera off and your microphone muted. And with that, Mr. County Executive.
All right, thanks, Jeff, and thank you everybody for joining us. I want to thank everybody who was out there in the heat and sun yesterday for the unveiling of the Guardians of the First Amendment Memorial. Pretty amazing, amazing day, I think. And if anybody has not yet seen that, please go down and check it out. It's a wonderful memorial pays respect to the work that all of you do. We're going to, once again, not start out with COVID. We're going to start out with some other things that are high on our list right now, starting with youth engagement. I don't think there's been a lot of news coverage about this, and I don't think we've made a huge effort to create a lot of news coverage about this, but we made as we've worked to increase engagement from all sectors of Anne Arundel County and what local government does, build trust, build engagement. One of the areas we've really focused is with young people, and knowing that they're going to be running this place at some point, and that they're going to, whether they're not working for county government or just residents, that we want them to understand the way county government works and be engaged. So we created a youth advisory council, appointed 20 people out of 120 or so that applied, and they've been working all year. And at the end came up with 4 service projects, 1 on mental health, 1 on the environment, 1 on racial justice, and 1 on education. The education group has launched a financial literacy course that will be running from July 5th to the 15th, and every day. And you can sign up for that online. All of these initiatives you can find on the county executive page of aacounty.org under youth engagement, and including that financial literacy course that is for young people, with young people involved in teaching it as well. We had the Youth Corps, which is a larger group, out to Quiet Waters Park just a couple of weeks ago for a day of activities and engagement. And then we had an internship program, and the internship program was 2 youth, Edward Awe and Anthony Morgan, who you're about to hear from. And they worked on a thing called the Youth Engagement Activity Hub, which is now online. And they're going to take you on a tour of it and explain what it is and why it is. But what they concluded was that young people are more likely to get involved in civic engagement if it's led by other youth and involves other youth. And they found that there wasn't really a good location for people to find out about what was going on. So they've created that. But before I turn it over to them, I also want to mention just that we have another internship program that is a summer program that is being run out of our office and with workforce development. 10 young people started yesterday. They were down there at the unveiling of the memorial yesterday. And they are going to be with us all summer, learning about government. We're actually calling it an academy, a government academy, but they're going to be doing service as well with all the departments of county government. They're going to get a great education. But let me turn it over to Edward and Anthony to tell you about this new, the Youth Engagement Activity Hub.
Good morning.
Go for it, Edward.
All right. Good morning, press. Good morning, everybody. So today we have Youth Engagement Activity Hub, or aptly acronized as YEA. Essentially, the YEA has 2 main functions: submitting and searching for activities. Submitting activities is very easy and painless. As you can see here, all you have to do is just click the link and just spend 3 to 5 minutes just filling it out. We specifically designed it to be for the youth by the youth. And so this is accurately reflected here because we expected a youth to submit this activity, 3 to 5 minutes, and then attach a sponsor, an adult sponsor, to verify and validate the event. So after a few minutes of just figuring it out, then unfortunately we cannot, we must prohibit political activities to maintain bipartisanship and whatnot. And then if you're submitting on behalf of an organization like the school club, you would indicate that on the form. And then within 3 business days, you should get a quick response. As long as the activity follows the guideline, it will go live on the Yeah. Passing it over to Anthony.
Thank you. So searching for activities is also super user-friendly on the Yeah. And once you submit an activity and you'll get a confirmation email saying it goes live, we'll be able to find it on this screen right here. And standardly, the activities are listed in chronological order. We provide the name, description, date, time, location, and category. And then there's also 2 filters at the top where you can filter by date and by category. So if you're looking for something to do on a specific weekend, or if you're looking for, say, an environmental activity, you can find exactly what you're looking for. And then there's also going to be some activities that are indicated by the little apple in the bottom right-hand corner. And that means that they're eligible for AACPM service learning hours. And you can log those hours on their portal. And then we're going to continue to update this for the foreseeable future with new events and activities throughout the county. But we are especially trying to encourage youth to submit their own events. So if you're a member of a club or an organization, or if it's just you and you have something that you want to do and get other youth involved in, we highly encourage you to submit an activity, and we can process it quickly and get it live on the Yeah. And with that, back to Eddie.
In the coming weeks and months, we will be pushing this out via social media. We've talked to several people of interest throughout the school system, and even through private schools and homeschools. We also look forward to working with the YAC to reach their respective schools, libraries, and homeschool groups. Thank you. Is there any questions?
Thanks. We'll take questions at the end.
We'll take questions at the end. Yeah. So hang with us. Congratulations, guys. You've done great work, and it's been great having you around the office, even though we weren't in the office a lot of the year. But obviously, we're all really proud of the work that these 2 have done, and that the whole Youth Advisory Committee has done. They meet every month. They'll be starting up again in the fall, but they meet every month, and I meet with them quarterly during those meetings, and it's been a real inspiration. Body-worn cameras. The body-worn camera program in Anne Arundel County, as you, I think, know, is in our FY21 budget. It's appropriate that we go from youth engagement to body-worn cameras, because I don't believe that we would have gotten that into our budget last year had youth not engaged on the topic. I got hundreds of emails, as did everybody on the county council, from young people who mobilized around this issue and wrote personal stories about why they felt it was important to have body-worn cameras on officers, and found that the officers are enthusiastic about it as well. This is it's gonna build trust. There's no question about that, between community and police, and it's gonna make it easier to handle accurately and fairly some of the complaints that are filed with the police department about police conduct. So everybody will know exactly what's going on out there, and it'll be an amazing training tool for our officers and our and the leaders in our department to have. So the great news is that by July 6th, I believe it is, the first cameras will actually be deployed. The cameras are purchased. The training has been ongoing. The training will continue into September, and it will be September by the time all 800 of our officers have their cameras. Each will have 2 cameras, so that they will always have a charged camera available for their shift. So I just want to thank everybody for their hard work putting this together. I think what you're going to find is that Anne Arundel County, being the most recent department to do this and doing it, deploying it across the whole department, with the best technology available. And as Chief Howard has said, she's done this in other jurisdictions and seen it happen. She said, we did it right. We didn't skimp. We got the right equipment. And so we know that all the departments in the state are going to be required by the new General Assembly's legislation this year to do body-worn cameras. And so I suspect that our folks will be out training a lot of them, and we'll be getting a lot of calls about how to do this right. So if there are questions on that and on the status of that, we have Captain Hassan Push and Deputy Chief Fleming with us when we get to that. And then finally, I just want to mention that we have some upcoming things tonight. We do our every other Tuesday County Executive. The topic is Veterans Affairs. And we've got with us our Military and Veterans Liaison, Pete Smith, as well as the chair of our Veterans Affairs Commission, John Church, and Gloria Dent, who provides services to veterans in the Central Maryland region. And we're going to be talking about the needs, the programs, and what we're doing to expand access to those programs in the county. And then finally, we're launching a budget tour. The budget passed. There's a lot of stuff in it that people don't really know about, aren't familiar with. So we're going to be going to all 7 districts of the county. And the first one is going to be this Thursday, District 3. We're going to be at Greenhaven Wharf and talking to residents there about things that are in our budget. And then one more thing briefly is parades. It's going to be parade time this weekend. My office will be out and about, as will I, at the Annapolis Parade on the 3rd, the Cape St. Clair Parade on the 4th, as well as the Galesville Parade. And on the 5th, we'll be at Severna Park. So I hope to see a lot of people out this weekend. So I guess over to you, Jeff. Oh no, I'm sorry. Over to Dr. Kalyan Rahman. It's good when we forget about about COVID and the health department, but we do have from the doctor.
That's the goal. Thank you, County Executive. So we are in a much better place with COVID. Our hospitalizations are low. On Friday, actually, we hit a point where there was nobody hospitalized with COVID at either Anne Arundel Medical Center or BW. Currently, we're in a census of 2, and this is really what we want to see. Our case rate is a little below 1. Our testing volume is steady, about 1.4% of the population, and our percent positivity is less than 1%. So these are all really great things. We see that 58% of the population has had at least 1 dose, which works out to about 74% of adults, and 53% of the population is fully vaccinated. Why is this important? Over 80% of the cases in the state are in unvaccinated or partially vaccinated people. That's the power of these vaccines. They are truly preventing the most severe consequences of this disease. Nationally, nearly every death from COVID is in people who are not fully vaccinated. The vaccine is our most powerful weapon against COVID. And that's much more important now because there's the Delta variant. So the Delta variant is one of the variants of the SARS-CoV-2 virus that causes COVID. It spreads faster and causes more severe disease than the regular virus or even the UK variant, which is now called the Alpha variant. We were talking a lot about that in the late winter, early spring. Well, the Delta variant is moving faster than that. And it's more than 10% of the cases in Maryland and continuing to grow weekly. So we do expect that it will continue to be a larger and larger portion of the cases in our state. It's important because states with lower vaccination rates, not our state, but other states, are seeing a higher spread of the Delta variant. So the more we get folks vaccinated now, not only does it save people, but it save the person who got that vaccination, but it also helps other people so that it slows down that spread. It's particularly critical because we're seeing that with the Delta variant, for folks who are getting 2-dose shots, your chance of hospitalization goes down by 75% with 1 shot. And if you get both doses, it goes down by 94%. That is fantastic. And that's why we're going to continue to push vaccination, particularly because we are seeing this variant rising in our state. I know there's been a lot of talk about booster shots. There are trials to see the effectiveness of booster shots. In fact, one of those trials is being led at the University of Maryland. We're looking to get results of that from that over the summer time. So we're going to keep our eye on that. And I know the CDC is looking at this issue as well. Pivoting to another issue, our Healthy Anne Arundel Coalition. We had our community meeting yesterday. This is one of those quarterly meetings that we have. Healthy Anne Arundel Coalition, as a reminder, is our initiative to engage the community in public health. And we're working on two issues identified by the community: mental health and healthy eating and active living. And we had a particularly robust discussion yesterday about how we can improve access to healthy foods and increase physical activity throughout the county. And what was really clear from that conversation was that what this looks like is different in each part of the county. I think we all know that intuitively, but having community members engaged in that conversation and figuring out what particular initiatives works in each community is really the goal of this effort. So we'll be talking more about that in the coming weeks and months, but our ability to really push forward on this is a sign that we're getting better handle on COVID, and we want to be able to continue to do this work to focus on other public health issues while we keep COVID in check. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to you, Jeff.
All right, good morning, everyone. And again, we'll take questions in the order they appear in the chat. Just please share your name and media affiliation if you've got a question. All right, Heather Mangilio, the Capitol.
Hi, I was wondering if there's any information that could be provided on this call about a shooting that happened early this morning on the 100 block of West Street. I know that's in the city of Annapolis, but I wasn't sure if the county's been involved at all, and we've heard that it might involve a future Naval Academy parent.
I don't have any information, and I don't believe we have the Annapolis police here, but
the Anne Arundel County Police doesn't have information. We'll assist the Annapolis City as needed.
Thank you.
All right, next up, John Frenaye, Ion Annapolis.
Hey, this is a question for Dr. Kalinaaraman. What has been the uptake so far on the program that you've got where you're reaching out to businesses and organizations for vaccines?
So we've got about 6 businesses. Last time I checked at the end of last week, 6 businesses who were interested. And we're continuing to get more interest in this. And so we've got a couple of barbershops, beauty salons set up coming in the beginning of July.
Okay, and would this also include organizations, we'll say, I want to say like and I'll just throw this out, like the Rotary or the Kiwanis or anything like that as well, or is this strictly limited to businesses?
You know, we're open to discussion with anybody. And so if the Rotary wants to do something, we'll work it out with them.
Okay, great. Thank you.
but a lot of the vaccinations have taken place at nonprofit sites and not only churches, right?
Correct.
All right, next up, Ada Romano, the Capitol.
Hi, good morning. I was just wondering if we could get some insight about how training for the body cameras is going to work.
Hi, this is Captain Hassan Push from the police department. We have begun the training last week with training the trainers. What that is, it's folks from Axon. We're in town. Axon is our vendor for body-worn cameras and have trained our academy staff. And then we've also trained groups of what we call super users, which are representatives from the different sections in our police department so that they can get the training directly from our vendor, and we'll be there for officers and other users of the body-worn cameras. They get trained over the next couple months. We're starting training for everyone else after the July 4th weekend, where officers will be rotated through the training academy in groups of about 24, 25 each. When they get their training, they will, when they leave the academy, they will begin using their cameras right away. So over the next couple months, we expect it to last until mid-September or so. That will be like a slow rollout deployment of body-worn cameras, but by mid-September, everybody that will be wearing a camera, which is everyone from the police chief to the newest recruit that gets released to field training, will be wearing a camera. So it'll be a little bit of a slow rollout because we can't train 800 people at one time. So we're training groups of about 25 or so at a time. And then as they leave the academy from their training, they'll begin using their camera beginning July 6th.
Thank you.
Sounds like I'm going to have to be careful what I say to the police chief from now on, aren't I?
All right, last call for questions. Again, name and media affiliation in the chat if you've got one. Rob Lang, WBAL.
Unmute, turn the video on. Okay, good morning, everybody. Just a clarification to Captain Hassenbach on those being trained for the body cameras. Is there any one type of officer being prioritized for this training? Is it strictly patrol officers, then detectives, or is it just who comes through the academy?
Everybody in our department who is a sworn officer, in other words, who has authority to make arrests, will have a body-worn camera. That includes detectives and patrol officers, and those groups will be mixed. So there'll be a mix of detectives and patrol officers attending those scheduled classes. We do have some additional classes, individualized classes for our quick response team, which is our SWAT team. They will be carrying, in addition to the body 3 camera, which is the camera that you see most officers wearing, they'll be wearing that. And they'll also be trained to wear a helmet mounted camera. It's called the Flex 2. And that because they have a unique situation in the environments that they're in, that they will at times have a camera mounted to their helmet as opposed to the chest mounted camera that everyone, including themselves, will also be trained in.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right, seeing no other questions in the chat, we'll wrap up today. Thank you all, and we'll see you next week.